Yo guys, how's everyone doing? This is your guy Assassin Dave, and welcome back to another ultimate, the complete tutorial for the new hero, the Marksman Flowborn. Obviously, Flowborn has a lot of different varieties, slowly coming out, rolling out in Honor of Kings. The first one we get is the Marksman version. I'm really excited about this because you've seen this character in competitive quite a bit. And a lot of people are wondering, with this much descriptions on skills, how do I actually play this character? How do I actually maximize the power of this character? And Dave got you covered. So like, subscribe, and turn the bell on to all notification bells. And let's get into the first and most important element of Flowborn, which is the flow mechanics, aka the passive, right? You notice that Flowborn has maximum 9 stacks that you can get. And when you use skill 1, it gets you stacks. But how do you get maximum stacks? Basically, you get more stacks when there's ally minions or heroes near me. If there's no ally near me, when I use my skill 1, I get 5 stacks. But if there's someone near me, every time there's 2 minions or 1 hero, you get 1 extra stack. So right now there's 4 ally heroes next to me. If I use skill 1, I instantly get 9 full stacks. That's exactly how the passive works. And obviously, every time I auto attack, it spends 1 stack, right? And it does the pierce effect, which is really cool. You can see that I can just constantly do, right, like pierce all the way back, because your enhanced auto attack pierce through targets. As long as there's another target to jump onto, you can leap onto the target behind it. So you can clear wave like this to line them up and try to pierce towards the enemy backline. And we'll get into that with the gameplay demonstration. Now, the second part of the flow mechanic, which is how to store stacks. This is extremely important because sometimes you notice it's hard to get stacks because not enough minion wave or not enough ally hero near you, which is a mistake. You should always be near somebody. This hero doesn't have a lot of mobility. It does have some mobility, but you notice the skill 2 needs to hit something. So it's actually not that mobile if you notice, right? So how do you store stacks? It's actually pretty simple. So I'm gonna use skill 1, right? I have 7 stacks. You can see there's a 6 stacks. You can see there's a countdown on the stacks. And after the first stack, counts down, the remaining 5 stacks just instantly rolled and finished, right? Immediately depleted. And in order to save the stack, what you can do is first use skill 1, right? When you're rotating to get 5 stack. And just before the first stack depletes, you can auto attack something, right? To let the cooldown refresh. And just so you can save some stacks. And when you're ready, use skill 1 again. This way you can slowly stack up your stacks when you're running from base to the team fight to lane, right? When you can have some minions you can hit once or twice in the jungle. So you can have maximum stacks when you go into the team fight. Next up, I want to explain this passive because this might seem overwhelming. It's actually really simple, right? Basically, when you're in base, you can select one of the 4, the Vitality, Piercing Heart, Haste, and Focus. In short, you can select between more health, more damage, more movement speed, and more better cooldown, right? Higher cooldown. This is straightforward. Starting off the game, you just want to make sure that you have higher damage, because this way it helps you clear and trade better. Clear minion wave and trade better because it's piercing the passive, right? Now, notice, starting out, you do get about 60 extra physical attack. And this is already pretty decent. Remember the big sword? I always like to use item as, metrics of comparison. If you go into here and you go to like physical, this thing only give you 25. So getting 60 attack is like more than 2 of this iron sword you're getting as a passive. That's what makes this hero so strong early game in trading, right? So make sure they start with damage. Now in a mid to late game, when you have enough, when your items start becoming, really strong, when you have all 3 to 6 fully completed items, you don't really need this anymore. You can build movement speed, because late game this give you extra 7% movement speed, right? If you read the skills right here, you get extra 7% in the late game, and that's insane, right? Like, to move really fast is probably one of the most important attributes for any marksman, especially marksman doesn't have that much mobility, so you can survive better, because if you can do 10,000 damage but you can't survive, that's all pointless, right? 10,000 times 0 equals 0. So make sure to pick movement speed in the late game to help you survive just a little bit better. The next tip I want to talk about is skill 1 bush check and tower push, okay? Now, why is this skill 1, you might ask? Because when you use skill 1, you get stacks, okay? And the stacks allow you to do a lot of crazy things in this game. Another thing is a lot of people miss about a skill 1 passive. There's a skill 1 hidden passive, which is when you use skill 1, you knock them back. There's a second line, right? In blue. A lot of people don't know this, right? When you use skill 1, you can see I push this target back. And you can actually use flash like this, right? You can, let's say I'm behind this guy, and I can like quickly skill 1 and flash, right? To push him towards the other direction. So you just have to be, you know, fast fingered to do that. So like, and my finger is pretty fast, so I'm doing pretty slowly tonight. But obviously you can just like one flash to push people back. So notice this knockback. Another thing that you want to know is that you can use skill 1 to push towers. For example, right here, right? I'm outside the tower range, but if I just use auto attack right here, take a look, right? Even though I'm outside the tower range, I can auto attack like this, right? And I can hit the tower. And that's what's so insane, you know? That's what's so insane about Flowborn. You can safely shred towers like that. Because it's range, another thing that you can do is to check the bush. For example, there's enemy target in there, but we don't know that, right? So what you can do is basically get in this side, get in this wall, and then start auto attacking the river. If you just auto attack the river like that, you can see the piercing animation. And when you see the piercing animation, you know somebody's in that bush, right? You can do the same thing on every bush, right? For example, if there's another target in this bush, it's the exact same thing. Like you can just like obviously hit the, you know, from there's a red buff there. It's kind of annoying. But I can like do this and see the piercing animation. No, there's a target in there. And that's how you use skill 1 to check bush and push towers. All right, the next tip, very, very importantly about Flowborn, is levitation. We all know when you use ultimate, you know, you can't really jump over a wall. You can't jump over this wall either, right? But you actually can. You just have to do it properly. The first ult doesn't allow you to jump over anything, but the levitation actually stacks. This is very, very similar to someone like Alessio, right? Alessio allows you to, you know, to actually take fall damage. For this character, it's the same, but you won't take fall damage because it only allows you to use two ultimate back-to-back with stacked up altitude. Now, what I mean by that is if I use ult once, right, and I can use ult again, you can see I'm jumping even higher. This is actually extremely important. First, this jump right here allows you to, second jump allows you to go over terrain, you know? And this, a lot of people don't know this. You can actually go over terrain if you just have skill 1, right? Ult, and then use another ult, you can go over terrain. This allows you to escape a lot of mobility. Another thing about this is your second ultimate actually, you know, gets you so high that you dodge a lot of non-single target skills. Basically skill shot skills, right? Kind of like Sun Tzu's ultimate, Kuei's hook, or, you know, what have you. Whatever skill that's not really, that's more of a skill direction, you can dodge them as long as it's not a single target like Dachi's skill 2 or ultimate. You know, you can just dodge them by using 2 ultimate back to back. If you can time them right, if you see a Sun Tzu coming, it's pretty straightforward. Just save a skill 1, right? Save some stack, and then just use a skill ultimate again to dodge that Sun Tzu's ult. It's actually extremely useful if you understand this trick. Now we're on the topic of ultimate. I want to show you how to do 3 ultimate back to back. It's actually very simple. You want to start out with 6 stacks. That means there should be an ally hero or 2 minions at least when you use skill 1. Now, after you do that, now you have 6 stacks, right? You just wait until the cooldown is about to run down. You auto attack 1 time, right? And now when the cooldown is about to run down, you use ultimate, right? Skill 1, ultimate, and then skill ultimate again. You can see all of a sudden I'm doing 3 ultimate back to back, right? You can also just use ultimate if you have the cooldown for it while in the air, do the double jump. But it doesn't really matter because you're gonna use 3 ultimate back to back. And you can use it to poke in team fights really, really strong. All right, the next thing is called a long distance ultimate. You know, if your teammate is fighting here, right? Enemy is fighting here, and you wanna like engage from really far away, you wanna get a kill, right? What you can do is skill 1, right? And use ult reverse. This way you can get a little bit more further distance to jump towards the team fight, and then use the ultimate again to face the direction of the team fight and use flash along with it. Let me show you, right? Skill 1, ult, flash, and like that. All of a sudden I'm in the battlefield, dishing out a tremendous amount of damage to the enemy team. Now the last tip is team fight must knows, right? So how do you actually team fight? Now knowing all those tips, the first thing you wanna do is in the team fight, because you probably noticed that in the middle of the team fight, using ult is kind of stupid because it puts you in a very vulnerable position. You can't really, you're in the air, right? You can't really move too far or too fast or too slow. So the enemy team can easily get you and do a lot of damage. So what you want to do in the middle of a team fight or before a team fight is do 1-3-1, 1-3-3 first to poke before you get into the team fight. Okay? So skill 1, and I just do this, right? Simply do 1 through 3 when I'm kind of further away, and then stay on the side to just poke like this. And when you have your skills ready, ideally you should have a lot of stacks, right? And now you want to use your skill 2 mobility. Leverage the skill 2 mobility to dash around and dish out tremendous amount of damage. It's also very important to notice that you should always try to hero lock if you want to target the right person with skill 2. Because the skill 2 has to leverage some kind of jump board in order to dash, which is kind of annoying, but it does work like that. For example, if I want to get over to, I'm going to turn on cooldown, right? If I want to get over to the last person, I have to skill 2 like this. Skill 2 like this, skill 2 like that, and jump towards the back, right? So you always want to have to aim, or you can, hero lock the right target if somebody's trying to get to you. But I find the easiest way for skill 2 is just like select like this, So this way it's much faster to cast, and you can get to the backline really fast. After you get to the backline, just quickly select the target you want to go onto, and then start auto attacking. Go to town, right? All right, the next thing we want to talk about is Flowborn's build. Okay, we talked about like in our tutorial when I covered builds. Before I get into the builds, I just want to say like this Lululemon pants, even though it's not Lululemon, it's so goated, bro. This is my favorite outfit so far before we can get access to more outfits. Now, let's talk about the build, okay? There are 2 major builds you can go with. I'm gonna talk about the Arcana first because 2 of the builds share the same Arcana. Okay, you can see this already, but obviously what you wanna do is 8 Reaver and you wanna have 2 Hunt. This way you're gonna have a lot of sustaining lane, including a little bit of attack speed and movement speed, right? And the rest is just standard, which is Eagle Eye as well as Calamity to give you the crit chance. Remember, your ultimate, every single one of them can crit. And if you have the 16% crit chance, you're gonna dish out quite a bit, right? If you get a lucky crits in lane, especially with the piercing damage, damn, it's just insane, okay? So copy this build. You got 8 Reaver, 2 Haunt, and you got 10 Eagle Eye as well as 10 Calamity, okay? Now, let's talk about the build. There are 2 major builds you can go with. Number 1 is when you go against enemy team who are kind of squishy, right? And you wanna do a lot of damage, you wanna go with the full hand build. This is the final build right here, right? You got Eternity Blade, you got Shadow Reaper, you got Daybreaker, as well as Doomsday, and you have Sun Chaser. The breakdown of this build is actually quite important. You don't want to go for, Shadow Reaper, a lot of cases, right away. You just want to build a component of it to get 20% attack speed, plus your boots, another 20%, that's 40%, right? Plus your attributes, you should get like pretty high attack speed just in early game. Right after that, you want to build Eternity Blade to boost up the damage. This way you have damage. Because if you notice, this character Flowborn actually lacks damage. You feel like you're just poking or scratching people. You're not doing serious damage. That's because you're building Eternity Blade pretty late. So build this fairly early and then finish it with Shadow Breaker after that. Shadow Reaper after that. After Shadow Reaper, you can just build Daybreaker and then turn that into Doomsday and then Sun Chaser, right? You don't always have to build Sun Chaser. It's really situational. If any team has dodgy or a lot of poke, gun and maul, right? You can turn this into a defensive item. You can just not build this. In fact, I don't want to, usually have this in my build, but I just want to show you that's in there, right? You can turn this into something like the defensive item. Either it's Ominous Premonition or Succubus Cloak, right? So one of those choices. Now, the second option is enemy team have a lot of dive, right? They have, for example, they just constantly dive onto you. For example, if any team has like Prince of Lan Ling, or you have Sun Ce that constantly dive onto you, you want to add a little bit more survivability. Well, what you can do is build something what we call is attack modifier build, right? Because you can see the first 3 items, the Sparkforged Dagger, the Defrost Siege, as well as Doomsday, they're all attack modifiers. And they also give you a lot of attributes. For example, this thing give you attack speed. And by the way, your ultimate triggers insane amount of Sparkforge because your ultimate triggers base attack modifier. Okay, so this is actually really good because if you use ult, you will just see thunder going all over the place, right? And this thing, Defrost Siege, the same thing. When you use your ultimate every single time, it's gonna proc the passive almost instantaneously, slow the enemy down, and while dishing out tremendous damage, right? So Defrost Siege is really good. Not to mention, it gives you 600 more health, right? With the attack speed, which are attributes you need. So that's why I highly recommend this item. You reduce the enemy movement speed, allows you to kite better, and it's stacked 5 times, right? You can get up to 15% attack speed, movement speed slow at full stack to target will receive an extra 30% damage from basic attacks. So it's not bad on damage either. And then you got Doomsday, right? This just give you a little bit more damage, attack modifier, and it give you sustain, right? And also shreds tank pretty fast because it does percentage HP damage per auto attack. Remember, every single one of your ultimate triggers that. Okay, so it does AoE attack modifier. And then you just build tanky, Okay, the same thing as this Sage Sanctuary, sorry, is not the actually in my last item build. I just keep a freaking resilient agate in here because my next item after Blood Rage, I want to either build, I want to buy this item to remind myself sometimes because I forget, you know. I don't know why I'm bad memory. To remind myself to either build the Ominous Premonition or Succubus Cloak, the two most common defensive items you can build on a marksman, or a squishy hero in general, squishy carry, right? Because depends on what enemy team you have. If they have assassins, right, Prince of Lightning, they constantly focus on you, then you want to go Ominous Premonition. But if they obviously have poke, like Dodgy or Ganamol, Succubus Cloak is your choice of item. And then you just go for, you know, standard Sage Sanctuary into Destiny swap, right? After you have enough money, you can sell your boots for it. So that's your whole build. All right, guys, welcome to this incredible Flowborn Marksman Global #1 gameplay. Before we get into the gameplay, guys, it's time to use the link in description or QR code on screen to get 20% extra tokens. This way you can get all the customization. You can see this is a Chinese server, 2600 peak tournament rating. And look at all these outfits, right? This is a female version, Marksman Flowborn. Dude, you know, I love the current version of this. This is so cool, right? It's actually so cool. Use 1-2-1. I don't know if that's, actually did quite a bit of damage to the bird, to be honest. I was surprised it did that much damage to the bird. He gets it with a skill 2. So you do skill 2 pretty often, early game to last hit. That's some tips we can for sure take note of, right? Because like when I play, I actually don't use that much skill 2 in lane. I mostly use it to reposition. But you can see this Flowborn, he's using a lot of skill 2 last hit, right? He's using it again. Skill 1 last hit. And I think that might be more. I end up doing more damage, right? Like because skill 2. And by the way, the skill leveling up sequence, you maximize skill 2 first, right? Because the skill 1 mostly serves the purpose just to give you stacks, give you flow, give you passive. By the way, the enemy Marksman Marco Polo has the Detective Conan skin, I believe. Yo, that skin is so good. It's probably the best Marco Polo skin. It's like the grown-up version, or probably Conan's friend. You know, Conan has a friend, you know, after, oh, there it is. Double skill 2. He likes to use quite a bit of double skill 2 for mobility, and also extra poke on top of it. I like that quite a bit. Something that for sure, yeah, you can see that he's just using that for the extra poke. Because his auto attack is not going to do that much damage. So he's using skill 2 in lane to just shred or chip away the health slightly, you know? There you go. He's also calling out Flash on the enemy team. I think this is mostly for himself because top players like to chat. By the way, there's a life hack. You can use the chat feature and use the chat history. Go to the last column. And the chat history will give you, show all the attacks that you have done, which is extremely useful. Because if you write that enemy, you write something notes for yourself, you can take a look, oh, you know, when did the enemy team, a marksman, have flash, use flash? If they use flash, it means it won't have flash again. So in the next like 2 minutes or so, especially when you play jungler, you know where to gank, right? He just did really fast-handed, by the way. This is actually incredible, right? Skill 2 to the minion, leverage the damage increase, and then go poke Makabolo was 1 extra auto attack. That's something, that details you can for sure learn from the global #1 Flowborn Marksman. That was really cool, right? I don't see that very often because the character is new. And now you see, you know, how you actually trade in lane. When you see the enemy Lianpo comes in, just use ultimate. The support he's playing with is pretty tanky, by the way, because you have to kill him twice. Let's take a look. He's getting poked, but he's very, very tanky. And he's lost sustain as well. So I think in the Chinese server, I noticed there are quite a bit of tanky front lines. You can see like enemy team have Lianpo and they have Sulier, right? Quite a bit of tanky front lines. Okay, leverage a double skill 2 to dash away. So you mostly use enhanced skill 1 and then use the dash in lane, right? Double dash in lane. So I've seen that quite often. And they have stacks now. Double dash 1 more time, do some damage. Lianpo does have ult. And he's gonna use ultimate as a finishing off skills, right? Again, skill 2 to dash. Now they proc this passive. And this you can see the support get killed and it comes back up, right? Pretty cool support, to be honest. And you can do double knockups with this, right? Skill 1 knockup. So I can't wait for this character to come out as well. Let's take a look. Oh, he doesn't have 9 stacks, so you need an A stack to use your skill 2 twice, 3 times, right? And he didn't have it, so he's mostly just using them. Only use 2 dashes, right, to poke and do a lot of damage. And it does quite a bit of damage, I gotta say. It's more damage than I think it is, right? I mostly just use skill 1 and use double ultimate to poke. But this double skill 2 combo thing seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. I might try this in my own games. By the way, I just played Flowborn. I played a bunch of normal, you know, just to try out the mechanics, practice a little bit. And when I take it to rank, the first game I didn't even get to pick it. Enemy team first picked it as a mid laner and lost. And then when I picked it, I had like I was playing duo with CC. Enemy team had a trio. Do you guys see this? Like sometimes when you play duo or solo queue, you run into a fireman. And you're like, what just happened? Isn't it like make more sense to duo? If you're duo, enemy team is also duo. Like, why you play duo, enemy team has somehow like fireman? Makes no sense. All right, let's continue. Okay, so enemy team diving in. This is like a 5 people situation. So skill 1, and he used dash. He still have 5 stacks waiting. It's just auto attacking now, right? And uses last dash to get away. So the dash here is saved as escape tool, right? But then you have to get, the thing about the dash is you have to get in range where your skill 2 can hit somebody before you can use it. So let's see. Okay, the jungler's going in on the Marco Polo. I'll have to use ult to get away. Dude, this jungler's pretty cool. It seems like he has 2 lives. Well, they really want to kill that Da Chao, huh? That might not be the best thing to do. He's ulting from far. Okay. Skill 1. Get 6 stacks. All attacking. All right. Bro, I love this. I love this outfit, man. There's so many different outfits. This is a cat outfit. I think you get one of the cat outfit for free. So make sure to do their events, guys. And then use the link in the description or QR code on screen to get 20% extra tokens so you can buy customize Flowborn the way that you like, okay? And his item build is a little bit different. He's going for Doomsday first and then Shadow Reaper. A lot of the attack speed, because your skill 2 cast animation, by the way, it casts faster the faster you attack, okay? That's how it works. Okay, so this is the 1-3-3 combo. He's leveraging, he's getting a skill 1 and do double skill 3 to poke and clear minion wave at the same time. And skill 2 to last hit. Very proficient movement here, right? Because again, I don't use skill 2 that often in my gameplay, and I noticed like how he plays this character. He frequently uses skill 2 to last hit and to rotate. So for sure, something that's really good to learn. Okay, doesn't have stack. Let's see, skill 1 to get a lot of stacks. Double skill 2. Boom. That's one more. Skill 2 to skill 3. So when you have 3 allies next to you, you can get A stacks. That means instantaneous A stacks, right? Instantaneous 3 skill 2s. And that's what he did. That's like skill 2 is utilized to the maximum in this particular game. I think it's pretty good. Cause a lot of people were wondering, I think including me, like how often do you use the 3 stack skill 2, the level 3 skill 2? It seems like so hard to get stacks, especially when you have to use stacks to auto attack. But this is how you do it, right? Like you have 3 allies next to you, use skill 1, get A stack instantly. That's your 3 dashes on your skill 2. Beautiful. And most of the time you use 1, he just used skill 1 normally. And this way you can use skill 2 twice and use a last hit and poke enemy, right? That's something I never thought you can do. Watching Global 1 Marksman 2600 peak, you learn quite a bit on how he maneuvered the character. All right, so seems like topside might be fighting with a pay. And then by the way, the new game right now, Honor of King after the patch, every character seems to get a lore name, like a secondary name. And I'm hella confused. What do y'all think about the secondary name? I'm so confused right now because a lot of characters have really good names already. For example, like when you have something like Flowborn, or when you have someone like My Sure Knew, you don't need a secondary name. But they give a lot of fire secondary name, which is kind of interesting. Okay, let's take a look. HoK. Backed away from the Overlord. It's okay, he has like, gonna use skill 2, can get over wall with that. Let's take a look. So just hitting from far, right? Leveraging the insane range he has to try to, you know, hit from the over the wall. All right, auto attack. They're gonna defend mid tower here. They got it. Defend mid tower. This is going in. He has 3 stacks on skill 1 for stacks. He's gonna use it. Yep. Now he has 6 stacks. He's gonna do anything with it? Nope. Just go back to farm. Okay. All right. If you go back to farm, I'm gonna skip. All right. I don't like to watch people farm. They are kind of being pressured by the enemy team though, which is interesting considering they were doing well, but now they're being pressured, right? Just show you 2600 peak. Like it's really good quality games, right? This is the game you learn from because it's really hard to make mistakes here. If you make a mistake, you're gonna get punished. So he's waiting for skill 1. By the way, this is a technique here. I want to show you something, okay? Take a look here. You see what this big circle is? This big circle is him holding skill 1. So when you play Flowborn, it's actually pretty good to have the control setting change to lift to cast. You know how you play Lamb, a lot of Assassin, you want to have tap to cast? When you press the skill, it instantly casts. Lift to cast is when you hold the skill, you press on it, it won't cast the skill. This way you can see the border of it, right? The cast range. This allows you to say, okay, within this big circle, I am going to get, there's 2 circles by the way. The inner circle is any target that you're gonna push away. The outer circle is whatever counts as your flow stacks, right? So right now he's getting the skill 1 range, and now, when I have 2 targets in, I'm gonna use that to get 7 stacks, as many as possible, right? So it's really smart move. And the proficient players, when you have Flowborn 1 trick, obviously, or Flowborn main, you're gonna have like tap to cast, right? Lift to cast. Tap to cast is for assassins. So I just like to switch back and forth, which is kind of annoying, you know. Let's see, skill 1, 3-3. He's just poking. No skill 2 to use, right? The skill 2, by the way, when he walks, there's another details I wanted to talk about. So this is double skill 3 to poke, right? And when he walks, he's tapping skill 2. You notice this little details. Why is he tapping skill 2 while he's walking? Because enemy team has Charlotte. And there's a good chance Charlotte might comes in for the knockup and double passive, right? You just don't know. Charlotte's really mobile. The same technique works for when any team have Prince of Lanling, right? Or someone like HoK. When they're in this, if you know they're next to you, you can constantly tap skill 2. The moment they show up, it will instantly push them away when they're close range. It's actually such a good tip, you know, like such a good trick that professional and proficient Flowborn player constantly does, right? When you know that you might be in danger, or when you suspect you might be in danger, they constantly just do this, right? It's actually pretty cool. So show you one more time the last team fight here. He comes to the bottom side. He has skill 1. He got 7 stacks here. Let's take a look. Right, skill 1. Okay, it's double skill 2 to dash over, and then skill ultimate to harass and poke. Right? Usually use your ult to start off the battle, start off the team fight, okay? As I mentioned, right, in our tutorial, you want to use your ult to start off a team fight. And then use, like, in the middle of the team fight, you do not want to use your ult anymore. You can use your ult to start off team fight, you can use your ult to finish off a kill. But in the middle of the team fight, you do not want to use your ult, right? And if you see him does this, right? Like this player, constantly in the middle of the team fight, he only uses skill 2 to dash around, to poke. And in the beginning of the team fight, or when you try to finish off a kill, he uses the ultimate, right, to poke. All right, let's take a look at this battle right here. Okay, he's using ultimate to try to poke the potential invaders. Now gonna use skill 1, 8 stacks. Okay, instantly use ultimate and his double ult to do a lot of damage here. And then front to back, right? Kill the Limpo first. Use a stack to get 7 stacks again. Let's see how you want to execute this. His team already have 2 dead. So he's actually anticipating Marco Polo to use ult to get over, but he didn't. So skill 2 dash over and use ultimate. Okay, I want to see like how often you use skill 2, right? He mostly just used skill 2 again to last hit. So take a look at the defense battle here. So right now he has like 8 stacks. He can use this skill 2 twice and didn't have it anymore. By the way, it's kind of interesting. Different Flowborn, like different version of Flowborn, you get your flows a little bit differently. So with a Marksman, you get your flow, you stack your flow with allied targets. And I believe for jungle flow, you get it from enemy targets quantity. So it's all attacking now. Okay, lost mid tower. And use ult to clear the cannon. Stay far and stay safe. This character is not really mobile, right? Like I said, the mobility is very conditional. You have to use skill to target somebody. In your ultimate, like when you use it, you're kind of like Angela. You're sitting duck, right? So let's take a look. All attacking. And are they gonna kill the Impo first? Impo jumped away though. Charlotte in. Oh, nice. This is a nice damage ultimate. Okay. Marco Polo get himself killed, jumping in. Now it's fighting back time. And he's keeping his distance. He's not diving in right away, right? Let's take a look at this team fight one more time. So he constantly kept his distance. And by the way, when you use your ult in the middle of the ultimate, you can be CC'd, but you cannot be interrupted. Your skill is gonna continue to cast no matter what. So poke, stay far. And you leverage Marco Polo comes in to use skill 2 to immediately cancel Marco Polo, I believe, right? He canceled Marco's ultimate. and then can fight back forward. I don't know how he got that kill onto Pei though. I think, oh yeah, he has auto attack. He's got a lucky auto attack into Pei. 550 gold shutdown is insane. Here he leveraged double ult to jump over the wall to get a cannon gold. Push the tower here. Let's take a look. Ultimate to start off, double ult to poke. Okay, and then now getting a team fight and start poking, start all attacking. Damn, his damage is coming online now. 6-0 and 3. Now he stayed. Dude, this is such a good gameplay. It showed everything we talked about in the tutorial, right? Poking tower from outer range, getting over the wall with double ultimate, right? And then like using how to. But the only thing that I think the peak thing that I learned from this particular game is how do you leverage skill 2, right? When to use it, because that has been my question. You know, I don't find myself dashing into the enemy team that much with skill 2. And then he showed you how he used it, leveraged it in lane to poke, and he shows how he leveraged the skill 2 in team fight. So beautiful game, guys. If you enjoyed this gameplay, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn the notifications bell to all. And I would wish to share this, but this is on Bilibili. So to give credit to the author, right? This gameplay, this player is really, really good. And we're gonna do more watch parties like this, so we can break it down, learn together for those Flowborn marksman players. And this is just great. Okay, let's take a look at this team fight. Enemy team start as Shadow Tyrant. So skill 1, get as much stacks as possible and stay further in range, really, really far, and use the ultimate to stay on top of the wall while poking to while maintaining a safe distance. Very, very smart. And now finally, Ma Chao, his Clash Laner, has made his way to the battlefield. This is an interesting build. He also has Siege Breaker, right? Because the enemy team is not, besides Limpo, right? They're not really tanky. So if you look at this build right here, right? This is Shadow Reaper into Eternity Blade. He built Doomsday fairly early. I think this helps sustain in lane. Also to shred Limpo a little bit more. But Limpo is really tanky, so getting Doomsday makes more sense here. And then build Shadow Reaper, and then Eternity Blade, Daybreaker. The last item is Siege Breaker, which is an interesting item for sure, right? Because like, I think in this scenario, he just, okay, I'm 6-0 and 5. They haven't been able to reach to me. So to my position, so he feels pretty bold. Siegebreaker is really bold item, by the way. Expensive, high risk, high reward, but it does insane amount of damage, so I can see why he's doing it. When you're this safe in the game, right? Pushing towers really, really fast. All right, poking the ground. I mean, you're not gonna poke a hole out of it, so. All right, clear the jungle. Now Shadow Tyrant's coming out. Not Shadow Tyrant, Shadow Overlord. I think they're gonna take the Shadow Overlord right before the Tempest Dragon. Dude, getting the Shadow Overlord before Tempest Dragon is such a chef kiss, right? Because once you have it, you can leverage it to put map pressure. And if you have to contest, the oh my God, I was trying to talk about, the Tempest Dragon. You can have, back to what I was saying though, you can use Tempest Dragon then to give you Shadow Vanguard to give you map pressure that can do Tempest Dragon. But let's take a look at how he gets Marco Polo one-shot, right? Skill 1, he has enough to do two ultimates. He just did ultimate plus flash. He noticed Marco Polo is low enough where he can just finish it off. And I was watching people saying like, this character doesn't do damage. Flowborn does insane amount of damage with ultimate. In fact, like the most crucial skill combo you should use, 1-3-3 to poke, right? And that's what has been demonstrating. That is so much damage there, 1-3-3. So let's try it again. 1-3-3. There's another 1-3 to poke. And then skill 2 dash out of the range of Limpo, right? And now go back in, do more damage. Wow, a flawless sequence of skills. And there you go. That's your Chinese #1 Flowborn Marksman Flowborn, right? Take a look at this customization though. This is not even cat ears. This is just a very cute girl outfit. I like it. Global #1. This is Chinese server 1 rating. I didn't even know this is #1 marksman player. He's just goated, right? This means marksman, this badge, and this means server #1, right? China #1. And then his peak rating is 2,600 points. Dude, you cannot get better games than this. This is a good game to learn from, right? Look at the total items. We already mentioned, he eventually sold his boots for Sage Sanctuary, right? This also gonna be probably sold for Destiny eventually, if he has to. So, guys, this is it. This is your Flowborn Ultimate tutorial. What do y'all think? Leave a comment down below, let me know. With that, Dave signing off. Remember to get your 20% extra tokens with link in description or the QR code so you can get the awesome cat lady, I wouldn't say cat lady, but awesome outfit with Flowborn like this, okay? This is so goated. I can't believe, dude, this is so cute. The fact that you can customize the haircut, you know, the outfit, however way you want, it's just really goated, bro. Again, signing off. I look forward to see you guys in the next one, if there's a next one. Bye for now.